Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. For today I am doing something a little bit more different than what I usually do. It's a once in a while or in a blue moon kind of a video. Just wanted to present one of the sketchbooks that I've been using for a while now. Been carrying it with me pretty much every day. I haven't drawing in it every day that I had it with me, but I have been carrying it around just to see how well it holds up. But I've been drawing in it at least twice a week or something like that. This sketchbook contains the same paper that I've been using for about a year now, or almost a year, or somewhere around there, and it actually has the tone paper. Now I'm gonna try and sing myself with a video. I'm doing a voiceover since it's very hard for me to record as I'm doing things. I don't have this setup. The microphone on the camera is not that great. So first of all, the sketchbook is fairly small, as you've seen. It is, the outside of it, it is actual leather, and it is pretty thick, and it has this rustic vintage look like. I can tell you right now that it is definitely a head turner, and a lot of people stop and ask me what's that, and they are very curious about it, and then they get intrigued by the drawings that I'm doing. Not that I think they're very good, but at least they found them intriguing. I like the sketchbook in itself, and the cover that it has. Flimsy things that I find slightly annoying is the clasp. I think they have different versions on how you actually close the book. The clasp, I found that to be one of the, I guess, easiest to live with, since you don't have to wrap it around and then kind of tie a knot, as I've seen some other sketchbook has. However, like I said, the clasp is actually very flimsy, and you put it in the backpack, you move around, and when you remove it, the clasp it's undone already somehow. That's how weak it is. It didn't break or anything, it's just that it feels like the closing mechanism should have maybe something in there to hold it or to click on, rather than to just open just because gravity happens. Anyway, that's a pain point. The biggest issue that I just passed through, and you've seen me a little bit earlier, it's actually related to the inside cover and the way the design is done. On the front you'll have the point where that band around the cover goes, and it is tied in by these two X's. Now the problem is, looks nice on the outside, but on the inside there's this knot in there that basically scrubs against the pages as you move around, and that damages the pages. Something that unfortunately I discovered later on. That's why I've added that sticker, that skull, to try and protect the page. The other issue that I had with the sketchbook, and this I guess is more related to the paper and how you handle your sketchbooks, and I don't think it would be just for this sketchbook. You start seeing that as pages rub against each other, depending on the medium you're using, the ink or the pencil or whatever medium you might have transfers from one page to another and basically kind of smudges everything. Some inks, I noticed they work a little bit better than others. Roller ball pens works the best. I had absolutely no issue. The most problematic inks that I've had so far, which is really odd, it's actually inks that you would not expect to see. You will see me at one point, it's gonna be like this fur ball that I draw, and I used actually a permanent black ink from Noodlers, the Noodlers black, and the ink actually just sits on the page. You can literally just touching it with your finger gets black. And as such, that got transferred to the other page that was facing it as it's being closed. And I guess as you move around and pages slightly rub against each other. Surprisingly, the inks that worked the best were inks that you wouldn't think they're permanent or they will be any better. And usually the Iroshizuku, Waterman, I believe Parker inks, I had no issues with it. Other mediums that I used and I had no issues with it was, again, rollerball pens on this specific paper. Works beautifully, absolutely no transfer. Gel pen seems to work as well, but the application it's more annoying. You have to do multiple passes, and sometimes if you're not doing it right, you get like streaks, which I don't like that much. What else? Micron pens. Micron pens works beautifully on this paper. As you've seen, some of the drawings has the very, very fine grayish lines. Those are micro pens, and they work beautifully. Oh, and crayons and pencils. Again, especially if it's like a 2B plus, they don't work with the paper very well. So if you're planning to use, again, the sketchbook as is, you probably want to either use a medium that you know you won't transfer from one page to another, or start using inserts, which will make this whole sketchbook even more annoying to use. Inserts to protect the pages from scrubbing against each other. Personally, I like using loose paper. As you've seen me, I don't like sketchbooks as much because it comes with their own difficulty. And when I'm storing them in separate sleeves, so they never really touch other pages, and that plastic sheet that it's inside of it protects any smudges as well. Now, they're not as easy to carry around, that's for sure, and they're easier to lose, so a sketchbook in that case, traveling is much more preferred. Other pain points that personally I had with this sketchbook, that band that goes around the outside of the cover, and then it has the clasp at the end. Once you open it, the back, it's very flimsy, swings open, and especially if you like to turn your paper a lot, you'll find very difficult to navigate quickly with the sketchbook when you try to turn it. I've been trying to find a way to just keep it in one position and just try and draw like that, but personally I have difficulties pulling or pushing lines in different directions that don't feel natural for me. And that's why when I draw on my loose paper, I like the flexibility of turning the paper as I want, when I want, with just a quick twist of the finger. With this one, it's a little bit more involved, and you gotta be more patient, and every time you do little adjustments, it is a little bit more challenging, and you gotta be more patient as you do that. Other things to keep in consideration, specifically to this sketchbook, the paper is irregular, so you'll have different sizes as you turn, and they're ripped in different ways because, well, that's the nature of this book. It's supposed to look like vintage and used and abused, and this is exactly how it feels, but the paper feels nice, and I like it. I don't think it's an all media as they say it is. I think if you use watercolor, you actually have to put something on it before you put the watercolor on it in order to seal the page. You will have some seep-throughs, and at the same time the colors will look very weird, and the paper in itself can be fairly fragile. You can use alcohol markers on it. I tried to use alcohol markers in the past, and They work beautifully, just you gotta be careful because it will seep through the page. So make sure you have on the back another piece of sheet that you don't care about, so this way it doesn't land on the next page in the book. And you can only do it on one side. You can't really reuse the other side unless you find a way to actually use the stains that you see on the other side as triggers for a different drawing. I like the sketchbook in itself. I find when I use it, I find it very pleasant and relaxing. I tend to use it in moments where I take breaks or in my lunch time if I go to work. And I like to use it exactly as it is. As you've seen some of the drawings, they look very weird, and basically that's when the brain doesn't want to work. And you get weird results. But you know how it is. You messed up now, it's like a breaking point. But then you turn the page and you start drawing again, and new ideas are coming from the messed up that you previously did, and something wonderful comes alive, which I like. I guess that's the discovery part of it. With those things aside, things that I do like about the sketchbook, obviously the paper. It is definitely one of my favorite papers to use and draw with, fountain pens and ink. It seems to suit my style quite a lot. With that said though, I am planning to start using different paper as well. While I do love this paper, I think it's good to try different things and see how your style changes based on the paper you are using. I do notice that I tend to draw in a certain way on this paper. When I try and draw on smoother things, my lines do change slightly in order to accommodate for the surface that I'm using. What are the things I like about the sketchbook? Obviously the fact that it's portable and I can go with it anywhere. And I don't know, it's very tactile. Even sometimes when I don't want to draw, I just want to touch it and feel it. And as an odd thing, and I know this probably won't be for everyone, I love the smell of it. I love the smell of the paper, and I love the smell of the leather. And I know having leather, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. I don't know what to say. Personally, I do like it, and I can only hope that however they obtain the leather was in a sustainable way. Oh, and the other thing that I like is that he actually has like 5 little booklets inside the book. So the way I'm thinking about it is like 5 tiny sketchbooks inside this one big leather cover. And I'm showing in this video towards the end of the portion where I'm presenting my drawings, the next sketchbook that I'm planning to start to use soon. I don't think I'm gonna finish this one that I'm working with by the time I'm start working with the other one. So probably a couple of months from now, you will see me, or if you're interested in that, I can do another sketch walkthrough or sketchbook walkthrough if you like this kind of content. Most of the drawings that I've done so far, I really enjoyed them and I like them. There are actually a few drawings that were ruined because of what I explained with inks transferring from one side to another and basically smudging them, and it's hard to save them. So a couple of the drawings that you see in here, I'll probably attempt and redo them, maybe in a slightly different format on the loose papers that I have, because I like the ideas that were behind them, and I really want to somehow save them, even though they're ruined. The other thing that I liked experimenting in this booklet, sometimes I find an ink that works very well on this stone paper, and I have an idea to go back and use the color in a different drawing to try and give more depth to it. And I actually have a couple of drawings where I have, like for example, the 2 reds, and then I come with pencil. And I noticed HB pencil doesn't transfer as easily from one page to another. So when I want to add a little bit of more darkness to some areas, I would probably use an HB pencil just to darken it a little bit more. And that does not transfer to the other page. Now, graphite in itself has its own issues in the sense that it's not perfectly matte. So depending on how the light shines on it, you'll get like shiny spots. So it's not like ink, unfortunately, or at least not like the usual ink that I'm using. So while I do like it, it does has its own downsides depending on how light shines on it. But again, HB pencil on this paper seems to work slightly better. Other things that I've tried, I tried ball points. I don't like them. It's very hard to actually put a line on the page since you actually have to press a little bit harder with ball points. You can't have the same impact, or at least not with the ball points that I have and I tried. Now the next sketchbook that I've shown and that I'm planning to use has a different type of paper. It is more regular and the tonality of the paper, it's consistent throughout. On this one, as you've probably seen, the different tone changes from page to page, and even sometimes you have splotches or spots on the page, and that could be detracting for whatever type of drawings you might have. Personally, I kind of like it. It brings a different dimension to the drawings, and at the same time, in some of the drawings, I use the spots that I had on the page as guidelines on how I'm doing the drawings or what the drawing should be about. Anyway, that's the sketchbook. I like it, I enjoy it. It will take me a while until I'm actually finishing it, and I'm planning to buy a larger versions of this sketchbook just to use it at home. That won't be a traveling sketchbook, that's for sure. And maybe at some later point in time I'll show that one too, or maybe I'll just have sessions where I do review between quotes of my fountain pens that I'm using and actually draw into it rather than on a loose paper, even though I'll probably find it more annoying. Back to the drawing for today, I'm using a fountain pen that I already kind of reviewed, the Jinhao 10. I bought like the newer-ish version. As you've seen, there were 3 of them. It's just the newer version, just in 3 different colors. I think that the coffee one or the brown one, whatever they call it, matches very well with the sketchbook, and that's why I made a decision to use it. And I decided to use with it Diamine ink, Earl Grey. It's an interesting ink. I like it, how it works on the stone paper. And the funny part is this specific ink feels slightly dry, but at the same time it feels like it feathers a little bit on this paper, which can give some very interesting effects. It's not as sharp as you can see on the other page here and there as I turned the booklet. It's not as sharper of a line because of the ink, but it kind of works, and it has this bluish grayish tint to it, which I like. And I think that the blue works very well with tone paper. It's like it brings a little bit of cold to the warmth of the page. I do like Earl Grey on this paper, works very nice. Even though it's not as sharp, it almost feels more like a weird brush. And it's not the pen's fault, it is definitely the ink. Since I do remember using the A10, the previous version that I have on this paper, and it didn't have the issues, well, not issues, it didn't have the same effect. And it's most probably the ink. The newer A10s that I have, they work exactly the same. The only 2 big differences, well, actually 3 if you think about it, that I see with the previous one that I used, or the original one, is one, now you have Jinhao printed on the clip, the way you part the parts when you unscrew it, you actually have an o-ring in there. And 3, well, now you have more color choices and all that, which I kind of like. A fun drawing though. The drawing that I did, I didn't started planning it to have a monster, but eventually, as let's say I was like 15 minutes in, and I realized that specific part that I was working on, it was looking like it's gonna be an eye, and at that moment the drawing kind of clicked in, and basically I knew how I'm supposed to go with the drawing. But for like 15-20 minutes I was just scribbling around trying to find my way and to see if I can find an end goal for the drawing, or it would be just a scribble. And it turned out that something did click, and I end up with another interesting kind of a creature that I do like. Anyway, this was the video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed as I was scrolling to the drawings, and you've noticed with your own eyes the issues that I had in a couple of spots, and mostly the issues were with ink transfer or medium transfer from one page to another. Anyway, a lot of talking, especially for me. I don't like talking. Believe it or not, I tend to be a very quiet guy, and but I have to talk on these videos, so I do apologize for rambling a lot. It's just a lot of times I'm trying to find ideas to talk as I talk about something specific, is because I usually don't talk a lot. Anyway, I'll stop here. I appreciate you for, spending your time and watching my video all the way up to the end, especially. And next week, probably a little bit more of a regular schedule. I'll bring a fountain pen to look at, have some fun with it, and get a drawing with it. And hopefully you will enjoy that one as well. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. I wish you nothing but the best and a wonderful day or night, whatever you are. Take care. Bye.